In our last investigation, we exposed how the American recreational vehicle monopoly is selling you absolute garbage by prioritizing speed over safety. And the response was absolutely insane. Thousands of you shared your own horror stories, but one comment perfectly captures domestic manufacturing in 2026. A viewer named Texas Ham Operator shared something that should terrify anyone considering buying American. He bought a brand new Forest River toy hauler, and on one of the very first trips with his family, the freshwater tank literally fell out of the frame while he was driving down the highway. Now you'd think a freshwater tank, something that holds hundreds of pounds of water, would be bolted onto the chassis with heavy-duty steel brackets engineered for that specific load, right? Absolutely wrong. It was held in place with cheap self-tapping screws that sheared off under the weight of the water. Imagine driving with your kids in the back and suddenly hearing this massive crash as your entire water system tears away from the frame. When he took it back for warranty repair, the manufacturer straight up denied his claim because they argued the tank wasn't technically part of the frame structure. Let that sink in. You're paying $100,000 for a frame held together by hope and self-tapping screws. And when it catastrophically fails, the company tells you it's not their problem. But here's the thing. There's a growing group of Americans who have decided to completely opt out of this rigged system. They're not buying from Thor Industries, they're not buying from Forest River, and they're definitely not waiting 6 months for warranty denials. Instead, they're using a federal loophole to import vehicles that were built during an era when engineers ran the show instead of accountants obsessed with quarterly earnings. That loophole is called the 25-year import rule, and today I'm going to show you exactly how it works and why the RV industry absolutely hates that you know about it. Here's how the law works. In the United States, safety and emissions regulations make it illegal to import most modern foreign vehicles that weren't specifically designed for the American market. The government wants to protect domestic manufacturers and ensure vehicles meet federal standards. But the Environmental Protection Agency and the Department of Transportation have an exemption that the domestic industry desperately wishes didn't exist. If a vehicle is at least 25 years old, it's legally classified as an antique. Once it hits that magic number, it becomes exempt from modern safety standards and exempt from modern emissions standards. This means you can legally import a camper van from Japan that was built during the absolute golden age of Toyota engineering. We're talking about legends like the Toyota Hiace, the Toyota Coaster, and the Isuzu Elf. These aren't just old vans sitting in some junkyard. These are commercial-grade machines that were designed to survive the apocalypse and keep running. Why would anyone want a 25-year-old vehicle when you could buy something brand new with all the latest features? Here's why. Read the comments section of any RV forum or diesel truck community, and you'll see the exact same complaint repeated endlessly. Sensors. Modern American diesel trucks are absolutely strangled by emissions regulations, requiring incredibly complex diesel exhaust fluid systems and diesel particulate filters. You've heard about the dreaded limp mode, where your entire engine can shut down in the middle of absolutely nowhere because a $10 computer chip decided to fail. Owners report being stranded on remote mountain roads, waiting hours for a tow truck, all because a sensor malfunctioned. The Japanese imports from the mid-1990s have none of that electronic nightmare. Take the Toyota 1 KZTE engine found in many Hiace campers. It's a 3-liter turbocharged diesel masterpiece. No diesel exhaust fluid tank to constantly refill. No diesel particulate filter to clog and regenerate. Barely any electronics to malfunction. It's a pure mechanical beast designed to run 500,000 miles on brutal commercial delivery routes without breaking a sweat. While your neighbor tows his 2026 Sprinter to the dealership for software updates, your 1996 Toyota drives up mountain passes. It's the fundamental difference between a fragile smartphone and a solid hammer. And if you're finding value here and want us to keep exposing the truth billion-dollar corporations, hide, smash that like button, and subscribe. We're a small team bringing you content that could save you tens of thousands of dollars. I know what you're thinking because I saw this plastered all over our last video. George K. asked what everyone wonders. What about parts availability? This is the biggest myth stopping Americans from smart decisions. People assume because it's from Japan, parts must be impossible to find. The reality is the complete opposite. The engines in these campers, like the Toyota L Series or KZ Series diesels, are global engines used in forklifts, generators, and commercial trucks worldwide for decades. You can walk into your local auto parts store and buy oil filters, belts, and alternators right off the shelf. For specific body parts, we live in a global economy. Order a replacement headlight from a Japanese exporter and get it delivered in 3 days. Compare that to the American experience in 2026. If your new Keystone slide-out motor breaks, you don't walk into an auto parts store. You drive to the dealer, they call the manufacturer, and you're told the proprietary part is back-ordered for 6 months. So let me ask you, would you rather wait 3 days for a part from Tokyo or 6 months from Indiana? I know my choice. The second objection is fear about driving position. Lance Craig commented that right-hand drive is very inconvenient. Let's be honest about this. Yes, the steering wheel is on the right, and yes, drive-thrus are annoying. But you're buying a vehicle to camp and explore this country, not eat fast food daily. Driving on the right side actually provides safety benefits for large vehicles because it positions you on the curbside. You see exactly how close your tires are to the edge, and you're less likely to drift into oncoming traffic because your perspective aligns with the road edge. Studies show it takes about 2 hours to adjust. Then it's second nature. Ask yourself an honest question about risk tolerance. Is the minor inconvenience of reaching across to pay a toll worse than the catastrophe of your fresh water tank falling out on the interstate at 70 miles per hour? I'll take inconvenient over structurally defective every single time. Finally, let's look at the only math that matters. A new American Class B van costs $120,000. 5 years later, it's worth $80,000 if you're lucky. You lost $40,000 for the privilege of owning it. A Japanese import cost $25,000 landed at the port. 5 years later, it's still worth $25,000, possibly more. It's fully depreciated, so you're driving for free while it holds value. The 25-year import rule is the only loophole letting average Americans opt out of planned obsolescence, defining the modern RV industry. You get a superior engine, dramatically better build quality, and keep your retirement savings where it belongs. The industry absolutely despises this loophole. They want you terrified of the steering wheel and scared about parts. Because if you're not scared, you might realize a 30-year-old Toyota is genuinely better than anything they build today. Don't buy their junk, and don't let manufactured fear stop you from making the smart decision. Do your research, find a reputable importer, and get a machine that actually works.